Let's not sugarcoat this. Something's seriously broken in the land of the free. People are tense, nervous, angry as hell. We're not just talking about politics. We're talking about dinner tables splitting apart, friendships ending over who you voted for, neighbors watching each other like enemy spies. You scroll through Twitter, and it feels like the country's about to snap. Civil war? People used to laugh at that idea. Now, you hear it thrown around like it's the name of the next Marvel movie. But here's the thing. This ain't the first time America's been at war with itself. Let's take a ride back to 1861. Because if you want to understand where we might be headed, you better understand where we've already been. The Civil War of 1861. The American Civil War didn't start overnight. It simmered, boiled, exploded, just like what's happening now. Back then, the divide was clear. North versus South. One side wanted slavery abolished, the other called it a way of life. But listen, don't let school textbooks fool you. This wasn't just about slavery. It was about power, control, the right to decide what America really stood for. The North was industrial, urban, fast-paced. The South was agricultural, tradition-heavy, and slow to change. Two economies, two cultures, two visions of freedom. Sound familiar? The real trigger came when Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860. The South saw him as a threat to their entire system. So what did they do? They said, "Now screw it. We out." 11 southern states seceded. They straight up broke away. And that's how it started. A war that killed over 600,000 Americans. Let that sink in. Not from a foreign enemy, from each other. Brother versus brother, neighbor versus neighbor. All because the nation couldn't agree on what it was or what it was becoming. And here's the scary part. The rhetoric from 1860, you're hearing echoes of it in 2025. The new divide, today's divide, isn't just North versus South. It's rural versus urban, red versus blue, Fox versus CNN. We've replaced muskets with memes, newspapers with algorithms, and political debates with cancel culture and culture wars. The average American doesn't trust the government. Hell, half the country thinks the other half is brainwashed. One side screams about stolen elections, the other screams about fascism. Meanwhile, the middle class is getting crushed, homelessness is up, fentanyl is killing thousands, and billionaires are shooting rockets into space like it's a damn video game. We've got armed militias on standby, politicians openly calling for secession again, in states like Texas floating independence like it's a TikTok challenge. This ain't just culture war, it's cultural collapse, and it's looking more and more like 1860 with Wi-Fi. The system is cracking. Look at the signs. Police departments militarized like they're prepping for Baghdad. Schools underfunded, teachers quitting by the thousands. Healthcare? Only if you're lucky or rich. Inflation's wild. Groceries feel like robbery. And don't even start on housing. Meanwhile, Wall Street's breaking records. They partying while Main Street's on fire. Sound familiar? Because in 1862, the elites thought they were untouchable, that the storm wouldn't reach them. They were wrong then, and they might be wrong now. Could there be another civil war? Let's get real. If America has another civil war, it won't look like the last one. There won't be clean-cut battle lines, no uniforms, no Gettysburg. It'll be guerrilla style, local, digital, a mix of bullets and bandwidth, cyber attacks, infrastructure sabotage, street fights, state versus federal clashes, sheriffs refusing federal orders, private militias rolling into towns, claiming freedom zones, and most of all, information warfare. The battlefield is your phone. The weapons? Misinformation, deepfakes, bots, and rage. And don't forget foreign players. Russia, China. They'd love to watch America tear itself apart from the inside. And maybe they'll help nudge it along. Sound like a movie? Maybe. But if you told someone in 1859 what was coming in 2 years, they'd have laughed too. So, what now? So what do we do? Panic? Stockpile beans and bullets? Nah, we think, we learn, we listen. The first Civil War happened because people stopped hearing each other. They turned enemies out of neighbors. Let's not run that play again. It's not about being left or right. It's about not letting this house fall apart while everyone's busy arguing over which room is messier. America's still got a shot, but only if regular folks, not the elites, not the politicians, decide to chill, talk, and build something better than this mess. Because if we don't, history doesn't repeat, but it sure as hell rhymes. America is not just a country, it's a living, breathing testament to the power of dreams and the unwavering belief that the impossible is always possible. From its birth on the rugged shores of the New World, America was built by those who dared to dream, who said, "We will not accept the world as it is. We will build something greater." The spirit of this land is etched into its very soil. From the pilgrims who braved the unknown to the pioneers who tamed the wilderness, this land has always been the home of risk-takers, explorers, and revolutionaries. It was here that men and women, no matter their background, race, or station, could rise up and build their own future. The American dream was born not from the comfort of security, but from the fire of defiance, from the belief that freedom, opportunity, and greatness were not privileges, but rights. Think about the incredible men and women who built this country from scratch. They didn't have the luxury of knowing the outcome, but they forged ahead anyway. Why? Because they knew. America wasn't just a place, it was an idea that would grow into something the world had never seen. 2. The revolutionary resolve. The birth of a nation. The Revolutionary War and Independence. On July 4, 1776, America took its first steps as an independent nation. But this wasn't just the signing of a document. It was a revolution, a full-scale declaration to the world that no longer would a nation bow to kings or emperors. America was born to stand tall, to stand free, and to stand strong. The Revolutionary War wasn't just a battle for independence. It was a battle for the soul of a new world. It was a battle fought by farmers, teachers, merchants, and ordinary men who became extraordinary under the banner of liberty. They faced the greatest empire the world had ever known, and they won. Against all odds, the Americans defeated the British. They faced cannon fire, they faced hunger, they faced the unimaginable. But they didn't back down. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and countless others. They knew what they were fighting for. They were fighting for the future of freedom. They were fighting for the idea that every person, regardless of their birth or station, could have the chance to build a life that was their own. This is the foundation of America, a nation that emerged from revolution, not to just rule over others, but to establish a land where freedom could flourish, where rights could be defended, and where the impossible could become reality. 3. The march westward. Manifest destiny in the spirit of expansion. The American frontier and the expansion of America. The American story is defined by a relentless pursuit of progress. From the very beginning, Americans were not content to sit still. The desire for expansion, for growth, for adventure, it became part of the American DNA. This is the spirit that drove settlers across the wilderness, fighting to tame the frontier and to carve out a new way of life. Manifest destiny, the belief that it was America's God-given right to expand across the continent, became the rallying cry for a generation of pioneers. They didn't see the land before them as an obstacle. They saw it as an opportunity to build a stronger, freer, more prosperous nation, and they took it. From the Oregon Trail to the Gold Rush, from the building of the Transcontinental Railroad to the opening of the American West, America's expansion wasn't just about geography, it was about possibility. Every inch of land claimed, every mile traveled, represented a new chapter in the American story. And with every new frontier, America proved that nothing was beyond reach. America's expansion was not without its challenges. There were sacrifices, there were hardships, and there were difficult choices. But that is what America is made of. Every victory, every setback, every challenge has been met with the same unyielding determination. And that determination has brought America to where it is today. The Civil War, the test of a nation's soul, the battle for freedom and equality. The American Civil War was more than just a battle between North and South. It was a battle for the very soul of the nation. A nation built on the idea that all men are created equal was forced to confront its deepest contradiction, the institution of slavery. The Union fought not just for the freedom of African Americans, but for the survival of the nation itself. The Civil War tested America in ways that no one could have predicted. It divided families, tore apart communities, and forced the nation to reckon with its own moral compass. But through it all, the American spirit endured. Leaders like Abraham Lincoln understood that the future of America depended on the nation being united, not just geographically, but ideologically.